Whoa, here we go. It's time for another episode of the podcast that you know. Come over here and flow. Oh no, don't flow. Anyways, we are here today with the Retro Gamers Haven podcast. And this is like episode 7, I think. I'm going to say 7. That feels good. So, we're going to talk today about some cool stuff. One thing we're going to talk about today is some old movies, some old games, some old books, some old consoles that play some old games, and then the new movies and some new stuff, but mostly old stuff because we are retro and that means old, not new. So let's get after it. Last week we talked about some stuff I can't remember, but hopefully you tuned into that podcast, and if not, you can get it on our Retro Gamers Haven YouTube channel. So get in there and check that out. I'm sure that there's something in there worth listening to that you missed. I just can't think of anything at the moment. So that's probably not a good sign, but still, that's up to you to decide. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about an old movie. You probably watched it if you were born in the 80s, if you're a kid of the 80s. And I'm sorry if you were. And I'm sorry if you weren't, honestly, because it was a pretty good era. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, you got beat a lot by your parents because that wasn't illegal yet, but you came out strong. You came out strong. And you got to play some fun games. And it wasn't all just Fortnite and crazy crap like that. You actually played some good games and you experienced them firsthand the way they were meant to be experienced by the developers. So, congrats. If you were born in the 80s, you probably had a decent childhood, except for the beatings from your parents and the beatings from your schoolmates, because that wasn't illegal yet. But in the 90s, we had a movie called The Buttercream Gang. I don't know if you saw it. I'm not going to talk about that today. I think it was pretty good, though. I ain't going to lie. I downloaded it on YouTube. It was like 260p. And I put that to my collection for show because that was a fire movie. When I was in kindergarten, that was my stuff. And I feel like Google the Buttercream Gang. I'm pretty sure that the main character looked a lot like Jason David Frank, who was the Tommy the Power Ranger. So I really liked him, and I kind of wanted to be him and wear that cool bandana and kind of just antagonize Buttercream gangs. Kind of make my own little gang and a little retro video game gang. But I got that now in the Retro Gamers Hub, so it's all good. But we're really going to talk about the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trilogy. That was an amazing trilogy, and the first movie was the best one. But why was it the best one? Well, it wasn't because they had the biggest budget, that's for sure, because they only had a $13 million budget. And it wasn't because they made the most money, because a lot of people think because someone makes a lot of money that it's good, and that's not true. We all know that. 206 million was its worldwide gross on a $13 million budget, which made a sequel. We get it. But that movie was good because it was dark. It was dark. Watch the movie now. I mean, it starts off literally with crimes being committed. Crimes in a kids movie. Who'd have thought, right? Who would allow it, right? But no, they were stealing TVs. They were stealing everything. Hide your mama, hide your kids. They stealing it all up in here, right? They got a woman turn around. She's in a robe at night. You know, she turned around. Oh no! They took the TV out of the window. How thug is that? That's pretty thugged out. You gotta take a TV out of old lady's window. But the movie was great for lots of reasons. Great actors. Casey Jones was awesome. April was awesome. The costumes were awesome. The action was awesome. The music was amazing. The storyline was great. It followed the comics. It was darker. A lot of parents were like, "Oh, this is a little too dark for little Timmy." But I don't know. I wasn't in that category. My parents was like, "Yeah, this is a good one." They enjoyed it. It was good for parents and kids alike, and it did well. Movies today, they just don't. You don't get that in the kids movie anymore. You don't get a kids movie with kind of mature themes, and I like that for the time. Now, because of the outrage and the outcry over the first one, oh, it's polluted my kids' minds and all this stuff, and it's too dark and all that stuff. Shredder fell into a big trash compactor and got crushed by Casey Jones. Um, they went and made the second one goofy. They made it very goofy, and that's fine and all. It was still a good movie, the second one, and the third one. I just feel like they were ramping down the Ninja Turtles because it was losing some steam, and they kind of gave us like some terrible, terrible prosthetics for the actors, and the turtle costumes were kind of jank, super jank. So we kind of got a crappy third movie, and that kind of ended the trilogy. Recently, we had the Mutant Mutation. It was a pretty good movie. It was done by Seth Rogen. It was comedical, and It was cute, and I like the artwork, the art style of it. It's a new era for a new generation for Ninja Turtles, and it's good enough for the old fans to enjoy as well. But ultimately, like I said, we do a lot of retro here and a little bit of modern. So we're gonna go to some other stuff this week. But hey, if you've never seen the original Ninja Turtles movie, then what the hell are you doing? Why are you listening to me? Go watch the Ninja Turtles movie. Heck, you can go buy it on Blu-ray for like $4. Buy the whole trilogy for like $8. I only hope they get a 4K release so I can spend a good $30 on that day one for sure. And let's talk about the book of the week. The book of the week has to do with that movie. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles becoming the real Raphael. 270 pages of bliss. You go behind the scenes of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films. You'll learn all the insider secrets from Ken Scott, who portrayed Raphael in the original Ninja Turtles movies. And you discover never heard before wild stories of what it took to bring the turtles to life on a silver screen. No punches will be pulled. And it's pretty awesome. So at that time, Jim Henson, the master of puppetry, he did that TV show, The Dinosaurs, that was real incredible, that went on for like 5 seasons. He did all kinds of awesome stuff, The Dark Crystal, Fraggle Rock. He had all these cool things he did in the 80s and 90s and stuff. And Jim Henson was working directly on that movie, so that was pretty cool. And don't forget Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice. What it was like working with Vanilla Ice, he'll tell you in there. So that's a great book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Becoming the Real Raphael. We're not sponsored by this book or this movie. We just love it, and we want you to experience things that maybe you'll love too. We're going to move on now. We're going to talk about the new old game of the week, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remaster for Switch. And it seems like there's a little rumor out there that came out from some guy. Anytime some guy says something, you need to take it seriously. Make sure it's the internet, right? So we got to take this seriously. But it seems like, according to the official specs, Paper Mario is running at 900p in docked mode on the Switch and 640p in handheld. But according to this guy that went through the files, he said that he saw files, basically code for 2160p and 1080p resolutions inside of the Switch cartridge, the code. And that's interesting to me because the Switch doesn't run at that resolution. The only thing that could possibly run at that resolution would be the Switch 2. So it's in there already. So a lot of people have been saying, they've been coming out with all these spec rumors on the Switch 2 saying it's going to run at 4K, 2160p. It's going to run at 60 frames per second. Okay, here's the thing. The Switch currently runs at 720p in handheld, 1080p in docked mode. We all know that all the new consoles are running between 1080p and 1440p. That is the new resolution standard for handhelds. So Nintendo is now falling behind the handheld market. We know that Nintendo's always slightly a generation behind, so they can make lots of money and not spend too much on hardware. I believe that the next Nintendo console, the Nintendo Switch 2, will be 1080p handheld and 2160p docked. That would explain what we're seeing inside the code. So I don't think we're going to get a freaking 4K handheld. Are you kidding me? The battery life would be non-existent. I think we're going to get a 1080p, which is an upgrade over the 720p handheld, and a 4K, which is an upgrade over the 1080p. Then it can compete in docked mode with the resolutions of like a PS4 Pro, or in handheld mode with the resolution of like an ROG Ally. That makes the most sense. Then you've got an adaptable console that has taken the next step in upgrading its hardware and upgrading its gameplay, and you make everybody happy, and you stay relevant, and you're still a generation behind, which is Nintendo's MO these days. Honestly, they're like always a generation behind. So yeah, and I think they're going to use some kind of NVIDIA upscaling type of stuff, whatever, with whatever they're using. It's going to have some like frame skipping stuff, and they're going to do some cool technical stuff, and they're going to make it play a little bit better than it should, because Nintendo's pretty good at optimizing stuff. So that's what we're getting. That rumor, I think, has kind of explained something, and I hope that explains something to you from somebody who's kind of a nerd and likes this type of stuff. Old game of the week is Majora's Mask. And why is Majora's Mask the old game of the week? Well, because under the new recompilations of N64 games, it's running at 120 frames per second, and it's in 4K. Wow, straight out the box. Amazing. Imagine what they'll be doing with it in the future and all the other recompiled games. If you want to see a good video on that, go check out MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, and he talks really well about the about the recompilation projects that are going on. Pretty cool stuff. We're going to be talking more about that in the future. It's kind of new. It's kind of early. I don't have a lot to say yet. Hell, I don't even understand it a lot yet. So I'm going to figure that out and we'll talk more. There's a rumor about PlayStation's next console, the successor to the PS4. I mean, the PS5, sorry. And that would be the PS5 Pro. Yawn. Who cares? Who cares? All their games are coming out on PC now. We just have Ghost of Tsushima literally released on PC. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Zero Dawn. What else? God of War. Everything is coming out on PC. Is there even a need to even have a PS5 Pro anymore? I don't know. I just say get a handheld PC at this point. And then at least you can have emulation and Steam and GOG and all that stuff. But if you do want to get a PS5 Pro, that's cool. We'll see what the specs are. I heard it's going to be like 3 times more powerful than the PS5. Well, that's great. But I think that Sony's actually going to be working towards a handheld. I think everybody's going to be going the handheld route. I think Microsoft might be going towards handheld too. Why do I say that? Because they want to compete. This is a business. We got the PlayStation Portal that came out recently. It's cool, but it doesn't really do anything. It just plays your PlayStation 5 games across Wi-Fi kind of crappily. So I think that was a test to see if there was a market, and it's sold. It's sold. It's sold. I think within a year, maybe 2, we're going to get a PS4 Pro style powered handheld from Sony, and I think they'll lock it down to where you can play all your, all your games on it from the PlayStation Store, and hopefully they'll support it better than they did with the PS Vita. We won't have another tragedy of a system, and we'll see how that goes. I think Microsoft should be in the market for that too, and I think that could work for them. I really do. I really think that could work for them and be great. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to go back to some retro stuff. I want to talk a little bit about some classic game YouTubers that I really like, and I think that you should check out. One of them that's been around for a while in the game is GameSack. Really awesome GameSack. They have about 300,000 followers, subscribers, we should say. They make awesome retro compilation videos talking about consoles. For instance, they'll make one on the NES or the Amiga or Sega Genesis, and they'll talk a lot about all the games and different things. They made one recently about like widescreen games on the PlayStation 1 and stuff like that. Cool videos. They infuse it with comedy. It's got a great presentation. Secondarily, My Retro Life. If you want to watch old gaming videos from the 90s, the late 80s and 90s, literal videos of them filming themselves playing games with their dad and going to GameStops and retro stores and going to KB stores on Christmas, all the things you saw as a kid, but you didn't have a camera. My Retro Life is amazing. Mikey, I think his name is Mikey Avocito. If I'm not incorrect, I probably said his name wrong. I'm sorry, but I watched lots of your videos. His grandfather is actually he was like a Marvel comic. He actually like was a pretty significant, famous in the comic industry. So pretty cool stuff. And that's a great channel. 120,000 subscribers. I hope it grows a lot. Super NES Drunk. SNES Drunk. He's got about 300K subs now. He makes great short videos of reviewing Super NES games, some other games. What I love about him, he doesn't pander for a bunch of subscribers and likes. He just puts out the video and says, have a great rest of your day. And I love that about him. He's got these compilation videos. He's got these awesome games videos where he puts together a bunch of retro music. Check out Super NES Drunk to just watch pure reviews and takes on classic Super NES and other games. Really great channel. Seems like a great guy. Sega Lord X. He's got like 140,000 subscribers now, I think. Makes awesome retrospectives and little mini docs about different stuff with Sega. Great channel. He really does his research, which is awesome. And I really like him a lot. So really cool channel. You should check out Sega Lord X for sure. And then Now in the 90s. And Now in the 90s is not in the present anymore because they discontinued it. But it was by Pro Jared, who has a great YouTube channel on his own. And he made awesome videos on there about like today is blah 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 1993, and then he would talk about all the games released at that time, and then editor Dylan would come in and say some funny stuff. Really great channel. They got to like I think like 90,000 subs. There's a good bit of content and videos on there, so you should go check it out. But it's going to become a legacy channel because they're not making any new content. I think the cost of the content wasn't really offsetting the amount they were actually bringing in, so it's a shame. All good things must come to an end, they say. No exception. So, top 5 handheld channels we want to go into. I'm going to throw these out at random. Retro Game Corps, lots of good reviews of classic handhelds. Wolf Den, amazing video quality. Also, lots of good game handhelds. Tech Dweeb, super funny, nerdy, knows his stuff, and lives in his mom's basement apparently, and has some strange disorder, according to what he says. But he's hilarious, and he's original and creative, and he makes awesome videos about awesome things like ROM hacks or old games or new handhelds that play old games. Pretty cool. Wicked gamer and collector. He's Hispanic. You can tell pretty great, easily from his accent. He sounds like Javier Bardem. He's got an awesome accent, actually. It sounds like Pedro Pascal and some stuff. And I love his content. He just goes in another package from China. Really funny. And then, of course, Taki Udon. I think I said that right. Taki Udon. He's like a ETA Prime if he didn't suck and sell out. He talks about game stuff and he actually gives you great reviews on these different handhelds. And I really like Taki Yunan. I like to watch his channel. Really great stuff. So these are our top 5 handheld channels. I hope you check out these guys and support them. They got a lot of good information and they're not just complete sellouts. Next thing is the new game of the week. That would be Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. It might just be a 5-hour cutscene, but it is beautiful. And it is worth your time. And it is on Game Pass for free if you have a Game Pass premium subscription. Check it out. And then, of course, Ghost of Tsushima for Steam. Ghost of Tsushima? Shishimi? I think I said it wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I loved the game when I played it on PlayStation 4 Pro. It's super great. I think it's an amazing game, and you guys should check it out. So that is our new game of the week. If you haven't played it, you don't have a PS4 Pro or PS5, just go grab it on Steam and play away to your heart's content. New movies of the week. New movies, not retro movies, but new movies. Boy Kills World. This movie was completed like a year ago. It's super great. Um, Super awesome action movie, super gory, cool story. And the narrator for this movie, which is in there a lot, is the voice of Archer. If you're a fan of the Archer show, you'll know that voice. And if you're a fan of violent movies, Kill Bill style movies, then I think you'll really love Boy Kills World. Secondarily, Abigail. Abigail is a great movie, honestly. It's got some great actors in it, some big actors in it. Um, and I don't want to give away too much. If I say too much about the movie, you're going to get pretty much the story. But I would say don't watch trailers, don't read reviews, go watch Abigail. I think it will kind of surprise you and shock you in a good way. And I don't want to ruin the twist. Don't ruin it for yourself. Let it stay fresh and go check it out. I give Abigail a solid 7.5 out of 10. I could give it a higher score, but there are a couple of weak points, a couple of things I have a little bit of a nitpick. The film student in me has a little bit of a nitpick of some things. Boy Kills World, I'm going to give an 8. I'm going to give it 8. I wouldn't watch it 10 times, but I'd probably watch it 2 or 3 times. And the last movie is Fall Guy, the Ryan Gosling movie where he plays a stuntman along with Emily Blunt. And it's kind of a romantic movie, and he's a stunt guy, and he's going through stuff to try to, save the day. Kind of a classic action movie. I think it's pretty darn good. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Gosling is just a joy to watch. He's a great actor. He's very talented. He carries the movie. He's kind of following off on his Barbie thing. He's a fun character to watch. He puts on a great performance. So go check out Fall Guy. It's on streaming now. You don't have to necessarily stream it. There's other means of watching it. Wink, wink. But we don't promote piracy here. We just tell you about it. Anyways, those are the movies. One last movie I would suggest everybody watch that I have seen now. And if you can catch it in theaters, by all means, go spend the $10 or go on Tuesdays. I think Regal still does the $5.99 Tuesday movies. Go check out Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. If you haven't watched the entire trilogy, the newer Kingdom Planet of the Apes trilogy, it is, I do believe, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it through there, through like Hulu, basically. It's on there for free. You need to check that out. And then I think they're leading up to the old Planet of the Apes movies. I don't know if when they get to that point, if they're just going to remake them all, or if they're just going to say, okay, we're done. We've done like 5 or 6 movies. and go watch the originals. We'll see what happens. I would think if it's still making all that money, then they'll keep going. If not, they'll end it there, um, and we'll see what happens. But this has been your Retro Gamers Hub, Retro Gamers Haven podcast of the week. We're at 20 minutes here. We usually go between 20 and 40 minutes. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have some guests on here. I'm working on that. I've got a couple that want to come on the show, so that'll be great. We'll be talking more about this recompilation N64 stuff that's going on. Some new hacks that are coming out. We got a new Trials of Mana hack we're going to talk about next week. We got the Final Fantasy V hack from Yo Lorebringer. We're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about my Final Fantasy V Pixel Freemaster project. That's going to be going into a new version, as well as Final Fantasy V Clean R edition, which is being made by XJ4CKS, another great ROM hacker out there that I've talked to a couple times. Really great guy. Um, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. If you guys want to talk about anything in the next podcast, let us know on the Retro Gamers Haven channel. If you want to shoot the stuff about anything, talk to me or one of the other mods or anybody in there. Just shoot us a message. We all love to talk about games. We're in there as much as we can be with our busy lives. We've all got busy lives now these days. We got to pay the taxes before we die. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Hope y'all guys have a great week. Do what you love, play what you love, and be yourself. Peace.